Breaking news, this story continues to get even wilder. Antonio Brown has now agreed to a deal with the New England Patriots. $9 million signing bonus, up to $15 million. So AB asks for his release Saturday morning. The Oakland Raiders grant that request. He hits the open market, and as we expected, Antonio Brown headed to the New England Patriots to team up with Super Bowl winning quarterback Tom Brady, Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick, and a team that's looking to repeat. Here we go. We have had this story for you here on CBS Sports HQ from the start, and now another chapter we have. Antonio Brown headed to the New England Patriots. I can't sit here and say I'm surprised, B-Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I can't either. You know, we talked about potential destinations, and I felt like it had to be a championship coach along with a championship-like quarterback. We threw out some teams. You know, the Patriots clearly was a team that a lot of people felt like would take a chance on Antonio Brown. I also talked about the Seattle Seahawks, but this is a New England Patriot-like move. When you look at the historical part of this team as far as signing cast-offs from other teams, still guys with a lot left in the tank. This is what they do. I know our own Pete Prisco talked about a few hours ago how the Patriots kind of have like a car wash where they kind of get guys that have a little dirt on their name. They just clean them up real good, and the rest is history. So this is a Patriot-like move, and I can say this much. We don't know if the situation in Oakland, how everything worked out for AB, will it humble him down to being the player that he once was away from the football field? Has he learned anything from this situation out in Oakland? We don't know. Only time will tell. But when you talk about just the football aspect of this deal, playing with Tom Brady, who is still playing elite-like football, playing with Bill Belichick, a guy that has been known to get the best out of any individual that puts on a New England Patriots uniform, and seeing the success they had last year, losing Rob Gronkowski, but now adding Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, Sony Michel, James White, Tom Brady, a healthy offensive line. Granted, they lost their center, so that's a big loss, but yet and still, everybody is intact. You get Wynn back, the first rounder from a year ago with his ACL injury, and a real good defensive unit. Well, this team was already set up to really compete for a championship, but most experts, felt like Kansas City would be the team to represent the AFC in this upcoming Super Bowl down in Miami. But with this move, not considering anything not football related, but just in between the lines, this right here is a championship-like move, and we don't question, is AB still AB in uniform? You don't question that. You know he still has it, because watching him, the few practices that he was able to participate in Oakland, he was just roasting defensive backs. So with this move, just the football element, championship.
Why do all the other teams sit back and the Patriots move forward and they take the risk? Chad Ochocinco, Randy Moss, Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown. Why is this working? Why do you go into New England and you come out sparkling?
Well, it's the head. Look at the head man in charge, the GOAT, right?
You're saying that's the reason.
That's the reason.
Okay.
It's Belichick. I don't care what issues a player may have away from the football field. When Bill Belichick calls you, you listen. When Bill Belichick tells you to do X, Y, or Z, you listen. You can't afford to not listen, because this man has ring after ring after ring, and he's still chasing. He's still adding to his resume. So if you respect anything about the game of football, you will respect Bill Belichick. You have no choice but to do so. And then the quarterback. Touchdown Tom. What more would you want from a quarterback? A guy that is still chasing greatness. He's already great. So if you have any aspirations of trying to solidify your professional career and chasing a championship, this is the coach to do so. Bill Belichick is like the Greg Popovich of in the NBA. You respect him.
Yeah.
When he speaks, you listen. And based on what history tells us, yeah, anytime there's a player with a little bit of dirt on their name, dirt on their resume, you question the personality, you question the ego. Whenever they put on that New England Patriots uniform, look out.
Now, Antonio Brown is not eligible to play in Week 1.
Well,
but
they're playing Pittsburgh, so. Whew.
Could you imagine, though, if he was able to play Steelers and Patriots?
Yeah, imagine if that was a Week 2 matchup.
It'll be Miami.
But this is a Bill Belichick move.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let's bring in CBS Sports senior NFL analyst Pete Prisco, who's been covering this league for more than 30 years. Pete, we're not surprised. You called this. You said this when this all went down. He's headed to New England, and now he's headed to New England.
Well, it takes a coach/personnel man who's secure enough in his own skin and can point to the wall and has the skins on the wall, and that is Bill Belichick. I mean, the guy has Super Bowl rings. He has the cachet. He can do this without much risk. And let's face it, he's done it before. He paid Albert Haynesworth a bunch of money, didn't work out. He brought in Chad Johnson, didn't work out. He got Randy Moss, and it did work out. And then he got rid of him when it wasn't working anymore. That's the Belichick way. This makes all the sense in the world for the Patriots. It's only a one-year deal. There's not a real risk financially. He comes in, and you know what happens when you get inside that building. Peer pressure makes you change. And if he doesn't change, they'll ship him out.
Really great point there. Peer pressure makes him change. Do you think that will happen in New England?
I think so, because he wants to fulfill that championship aspiration that he has, and we don't know if he learned anything from this experience that went wrong in Oakland. But one thing we know about AB, he still can play the game at a high level. He still loves the game. Now playing with Tom Brady compared to playing with Derek Carr, you don't even compare that. Playing for Belichick compared to playing for John Gruden, you can't compare that. So he has upgraded. I know people will say, well, was this part of his master plan? No, I don't think so. I think he just didn't really agree with how they handled him. And granted, I disagree if that's the way he felt. But if you were to ask me who won outside of losing $30 million, Antonio Brown won. Because number one, adding AB instantly makes the Patriots the Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
Right?
They're right behind the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right behind the Kansas City Chiefs. And think about this. This is a one-year deal, right?
Right. He can earn half of that back. 1 year.
Drew is extremely smart because he's missing out on 30, but he's getting half of that in 1 year. And if he balls out this year with no distractions away from the game of football within between the lines, guess what happens? Either they will extend him, give him a new deal, the Patriots that is, or someone else will take a chance on him and roll the dice once again. So Drew basically told AB, we're not getting the 30, but we're getting half of the 30 because you got $9 million to sign your name. You keep your nose clean away from the football field, you're going to get the entire $15 million. And if you ball out with Tom Brady, one would think he will ball out. Guess what's going to happen? Get a whole nother deal.
So we automatically think this is going to work out. Like, you don't think this is going to work out like Oakland? Like, what if this hurts New England? Like, could you see that happening?
If the thing is with New England, if it does not work out, you only lost $9 million.
Fair.
Right? If it don't work out, if something happens where you cut him week 4, week 5, you only lose $9 million. So for them, let's take a chance because instantly AB is the best wide receiver in a New England Patriots uniform since Randy Moss.
Speaking of Randy Moss, one of the guys they picked up, Pete, we mentioned this, Chad Ochocinco, Josh Gordon just recently. How does this compare adding Antonio Brown?
Well, it's similar. I mean, some of those wide receivers. So Chad Ochocinco was at the end of his career, although, some people myself think that Antonio Brown is on decline as well. But, this is more like Randy Moss. I mean, this is, except, Obviously, Randy Moss was more of a big play threat down the field, I think, at that time in his career than Antonio Brown is. But, I mean, look, they've had a lot of hits. Corey Dillon, had trouble in Cincinnati, got to New England, was a big hit. Albert Haynesworth was a miss. Chad Ochocinco was a miss. Josh Gordon to be determined. So, for me, I think Belichick is one of those guys that can take that chance. Not a lot of teams can. Now, we can go back and say he drafted Aaron Hernandez with a risk, and it didn't work out. So on and on it goes. For me, I think obviously the cachet that Belichick has enables him to make this kind of move. And when there's peer pressure from Tom Brady, look, everybody follows Tom Brady in that building. He's not going to take Antonio Brown's crap. He's just not going to. And once he does, Brown tries to act up, Brady will rein him in, and if he doesn't, Belichick will.
All right, there you have it. Antonio Brown headed to the New England Patriots on a one-year deal worth up to $15 million, $9 million signing bonus. Coming up, Antonio Brown, fantasy owners rejoice, right? Now Tom Brady's throwing your guy passes. It'll happen in week 2. We'll break it down next with Jamie Eisenberg.